Hi, everyone, and welcome to my review of Concussion. This is the brand new Will Smith film. It is one of four Christmas movies to be released in major release this holiday season. And it's a film that, out of the four, I would say I was the most excited to see. The other ones I talked about and I reviewed already on this channel. But for me, this holiday season hasn't been that exciting. There are some films that got smaller releases on Christmas Day, and they're going to get wider and wider as the weeks go by. And I hope that they're amazing. And I was hoping that this film that I'm about to talk about was going to be amazing as well. Now, Concussion, of course, I said, is the brand new Will Smith movie. And I'm a fan of Will Smith's. Sometimes he really impresses me. Other times I question my insanity about him. And there's other times where I just like the guy. I don't know if I like the person himself, but I like the actor. And when he gives off amazing performance, I can't deny that I've just seen something very, very important. And that's what I was hoping with Concussion as well. Again, I'm not a big fan of football. I'm not a big fan of the sport. I really just don't care about it. I'm glad it exists for other people to appreciate and enjoy because I love film. I'm glad it exists, and I can understand somebody not being that into it as I am. But with his brand new movie, Concussion, Will Smith plays a doctor from Nigeria. He's not American, but he's living here on a work visa because of just the amazing talent that he has. He spends most of his days examining bodies, doing autopsies, and one day he's living in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. So one day, which is popularized because of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So very popular team. And one day, he gets somebody on his plate, a former player at the age of 50 who has died, of course, and he has to examine his body and find out what happened to him. And in the process, he uncovers something that's very controversial with the NFL, with football in general, with the history of football that is kind of being pushed underneath the rug. And so he's there to discover it, to bring it to light, and hopefully change the game of football forever. Not to get rid of it, but to help bring acknowledgement to the sport, to bring this to light. And hopefully in the process, this happens with the movie. Of course, it's a movie. It happened about 10 years ago. And since we're talking about it must have all worked out at the end, hopefully, right? Well, since I don't follow the sport, I'm not really into the sport, I wasn't really aware of all this was happening. I remember when I saw the trailer, I couldn't make heads or tails if this was, maybe taking place in the 70s. Just the way the way the film looked and the way the way it was presented, it just felt like, okay, this story happened in the 70s, but to my surprise, it happened just like 15 odd years ago when this is finally came to light of this whole situation. And it's a very interesting one. I'm totally blown away by what we learned about in this story, what happens to the players and how they deal with certain things, and the tragedy that happens to them and their families. And hopefully, because of this doctor and what he's discovered, hopefully things will change somewhat. I don't imagine the sport ever going away, and I don't think this movie imagines the sport ever going away. But to tell the story of why we love football so much, at the same time, what things we need to be aware that happens to our players time and time and time again with their minds. Will Smith does a great job in this movie, and I would not be surprised if he gets nominated. Should he win? There's probably a better performance out there, especially from Will Smith. But it's a really great performance. And every time he's on screen, I'm convinced of who he is. I believe in him. I cared about his character. He has a relationship with a woman played by one of my favorite actresses, Mbatha-Raw. Just love her, and she's really good, and they have some really nice chemistry. Albert Brooks plays his boss, and he's really good in the film as well. There's a lot of people. David Morris. Who else? There's this. Luke Wilson has a small part. It's a big cast. But of course, Will Smith is the star of the movie. He is the one everybody's waiting to see. And it can get a little distracting when you see a major actor like Luke Wilson be in the film, but really given nothing much to do. And that's how I feel about a lot of the cast. There's a lot of major players, both on film and television, that don't get much to do in the movie. Will Smith, Gugu, and Albert are probably the shining moments of the film, and they get a chance to really develop as characters. Not only be people that we know, people that people know in real life, but someone, as an outsider can at least get into the story through their performances. The movie feels like two films. The majority of the film is the story that is carried by Will Smith, and it's convincing, it's interesting. I like how he treats his job when he deals with people who have passed on. That was very interesting. And how he discovers all this, that was great. And then there's another movie here where it's kind of the NFL, a little bit of them, and the players. And that all felt a little over the top, uneven, a little messy, and took me out of the film every once in a while. But then I'll be brought back with the other movie that is presented here with Will Smith and his story, his character story. It's really a fascinating story. I think that football fans should go and see it, at least be aware of all the hard work that comes into play with these players. They deserve it. They go through so much for our entertainment, and they suffer so much as well. I don't know what major changes are being made. There was some stuff told at the end of the film, and it kind of came by too fast, so I wasn't able to read it all. So I don't know what's happening today in the sport and what things are being changed, but I imagine there's many things being changed. But I think this is a film that I think anybody who is interested in football and who is interested in being a part of the sport, no matter if it's in the pros or not in the pros, it's something that they should definitely check out and witness. You just have an open mind. I think the movie presents its material very well. It's a good film. I think it should be a better film. It might be the best film out of the 4 films that I saw that came out on Christmas, but it's been kind of weak when it came to Christmas movies this year. But anyways, I thought it was a good movie and definitely something worth seeing. And for that, I'm going to give Concussion, I'm going to give the film a solid 3 stars out of 4.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and share this video. And also, please check out these amazing movie websites. And if you enjoyed this review, please click here to subscribe to my channel, and also please check out all my recent reviews right here on YouTube. Have a great day, live film, find peace, happiness, and harmony in anything and everything you do, and I'll talk to you at my next movie review.